All right, welcome to our Passion Fire Empire team call. Today is March 16th, and tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, for those of you that care. I'm half Irish. I call myself Black Irish because I'm half Black, half Irish. Anyway, we are going to talk about getting coaches started right, but we're talking about starting the business fresh and starting over. So the reason why I want to address this is, well, there's several reasons, but the main reasons are most of us, unless we got started in the business with a very experienced, very organized coach, most of us have started the business with great training and great resources, but may not have, hi Kirsten, may not have started the business with a flow of training and a flow of hand-holding. So I want to address that really quick. So first of all, one of my biggest fears in this business as a coach and as a leader has always been being pushy with my coaches. So I've always had this fear. I thought it was a fear of leading, but really I'm not afraid to lead. I think it was more of a fear of not being liked. And so I didn't ever want to put people in a position where they felt like I was pushing my agenda onto them. And I wasn't really sure how to find the balance between the two of those things. So I'm going to mute everybody real quick. Hang on one second. Participants, how do I do this? Mute all. Okay. Okay, so basically, I started out the business, and my coach was pretty much brand new when she started out. So she did what most of us do, which is to refer us to the more experienced people in our upline team, which is that's perfectly fine to do. But I've recently come across a new, or I should say old new training that was shared in the push group that some of you are part of, the Diamond Push group that Diesel Nation has going on right now. And I have really fallen in love with this training. Michelle Perkins and I have actually both started listening to it and really decided, there's a lot of things going on in the business. There's a lot of shift. There's a lot of coaches now in the network, which is a really great sign for us because that means this business is growing big time. But there's a lot of changes also that, when with change comes more change. So we really we both have been talking behind the scenes about this, and both of us have agreed that we want to do a shift in our business. And we kind of have referred to it as like, we want to start our business over, but it's not so much starting over as it is starting fresh. So basically, coming into the business, like I said, we have amazing training. We're on an amazing team. We're really blessed to be part of the team that we're on now in our big team, Diesel Nation, and Team Beachbody as a whole, as one big team. We're really blessed to be part of this business. And we have amazing training, and we have every resource that we could possibly need. But one of the things, like I was saying, my biggest fear was always to be pushing. So I wasn't really sure how to find that balance, how to lead my coaches in the right way. And so I'm realizing now that my fear was really about not wanting to have that negative view of me. And I think that has done a disservice to a lot of my earlier coaches who have come into the business, because I realized a lot more hand-holding actually for most people really needs to take place in this business. In this training, this guy, and I posted it in our team page today. So if you guys, when you get a chance, you really need to take a look at it, because he breaks down exactly what your mindset should be in this business. He breaks down everything that you need to do to get started right and to start your coaches the right way. And that includes VIP discount members as well. So basically, what he talked about in this particular training, which is what I'm going to try to bullet point is as concise as possible, is that you really have to, one, match people's effort, which is something I always say, I'll match your effort. But two, you really have to figure out what that effort is. And when somebody comes into the business as a new coach, that is the opportunity to really figure out exactly what it is that they want from the business and to show them by example how to get it. So he gave a really cool analogy. And he said that, you know, if you were standing at a road and at the end of that road, there was a lake, and someone came up to you and said, you know, how do I get to the lake? And you started pointing, you know, go down here, take a left, go here, do this. That's really not the type of approach that we want to be in this as coaches. We don't want to be GPS coaches. We want to be people who hold people's hands and walk them to the lake. And if they want to sprint to the lake, then we want to sprint with them to the lake. If they want to trot, then we want to trot. So it's really about figuring out what it is that they want out of the business. If they just want a discount, if they just want to take advantage of that coach price for things, maybe they just want to get their, you know, health products covered, or they really do want to make some level of income in this business, whether it's 6 figures or whether it's $50 a week. Whatever that is, that's our job as coaches to match that effort. And what I have made the mistake, I believe, of doing, and I'm freely admitting this now, is that he refers to it as kind of being like a wimpy coach. So I really don't like that term, but I'll use it because he said it. So I don't think I'm a wimp, but I do think that I kind of do more of a hands-off, you know, I match your effort, but at the same time, I have a hard time saying, no, this is what you need to do. And I didn't start most of my coaches out with setting expectations for them. In the beginning, I didn't really know how to do that. Now I do know how to do that, but I don't do it a lot because I feel like I just want everybody to be happy, you know, and that's just not going to grow this business. So one thing I loved that he said was, I would rather not be liked and have given people the correct information and been truthful with them about what it is they need to work on, what it is they need to start with, and hold their hand for the first 30, 60, 90 days and beyond, to give them the right start and so that they can have success in their business off the bat from Jump Street, rather than saying, whatever you want to do, and then having them feel lost and not know what direction to take and not really know where to pick up and not really know what it is that they want to do. Or when they figure out, you know, I really do want to do something with this business, to not know where to go and where to start. So those lines for me have been blurred. And I know I talked to Michelle about this and she kind of felt the same way too, and I think some of it just has to do with being a woman, to be honest with you. It's just like, you want everybody to be happy, but sometimes you just need to tell people like it is. And it's not that I don't tell people like this. You guys know I'm very transparent. I'm very real about everything. However, I'm also very like, all right, if that's what you want to do. And I really, at this point, I've completely shifted my mind. I'm going to stop being apologetic, I guess. And I didn't think I was being, but I realized after listening to this training that I still am being that way, of the hard work that it takes to build this business. I really want to help my coaches and start fresh with all of my coaches, whether you've been a coach with me for 30 days or whether you've been a coach with me for 3 years. I want to start fresh and use this template that he gives in this training to start and know exactly what it is that you want, so I can help you set goals, set expectations, and get there. So I want to touch, there's so much information, so I want to touch on the main things that he talked about. I hope what I'm saying is making sense so far, but basically, walking your coaches to the lake, I talked about. Matching their effort, I talked about. Starting them right, basically, is getting a meeting with them. So a one-on-one, whether it's a phone call, Zoom call, or if you can get in person with them. And he suggests an hour and a half of their time. I think picking what fits best for you, what you feel like you need to get the right information from them, you get to decide what that time would be. But he says an hour and a half because he goes over a lot of information. And one of the biggest reasons for that meeting is, number one, to figure out what their why is. And number two is to set expectations, what they can expect of you and what you expect of them. Because in reality, you have a contract with each other. It's not a binding contract. It's not a legal contract. It's not a written contract, but you're exchanging your time with each other. And so because time is so precious, that time needs to be productive for both people. So if I'm somebody who's sponsoring you into the business, and I don't really know what it is that you want, then I don't know how to serve you. And so that's a disservice to you and to me, because then we're kind of just figuring out, okay, well, start here, go here, do this, do that. It needs to be very clear exactly what your why is, and not just your big vision, but also, what it is that you want immediately and how fast you want it. So he talks about some questions to ask, and that's one of them. What is it that you want, and by when do you want it? And this is something you need to know, whether this is a discount coach or whether it's somebody who says, yes, I want to build the business. You really need to know exactly what it is that people want so that you can serve them as their coach and help them get it. That's your job. So he talks about different questions that he asks in this meeting, and the agenda of the meeting. And like I said, setting expectations, being very clear, getting a commitment from your coach. So I'm going to go over some of the questions that he asked, because I love these questions that just make it so easy and so clear to know exactly, so that both people are on the right page. I'm going to interrupt myself. So one of the things that Michelle and I talk about a lot, and Stacey and I talk about this too a lot, is you never want to feel like you're wanting something for someone more than they want it for themselves. So we've all felt like that, because sometimes what happens is people say they want to build a business, or they say they want this, or whatever it is that they want. They say I want this, I'm ready, I want to do this. And then something happens behind the scenes in their life. Maybe just something interrupted that time frame for them, and they're not necessarily ready to run. Maybe they just need to walk, or maybe they just need to just slow down a little bit. But if there's not enough communication, you're not going to know that shift has happened. So part of the expectations is to let them know there's always an open line of communication, asking them, can I hold you accountable? But also asking them, will you be open with me if something changes with what you started out wanting, and if there's a shift in that, so that I know, and I'm not coming to you going, come on, you said you want to sprint, let's go, trying to coach you in that speed when you're no longer wanting to go that fast, if that makes sense. Or if you thought you wanted to go slow, but you're really wanting to go faster. It's almost like if you've ever worked with a personal trainer, it's kind of like the first couple of sessions, they feel you out. They want to know what your strength is. They want to know how fast you want to get to your goal, so that they can figure out how hard they can push you. But it's kind of the same concept. So one of the things is to really have that open line of communication, and to know what you want coming in. So he talks about it as if, treating people like they're employees, but not in the negative sense. Treating people like they're employees for the first 90 days, meaning you're giving them that guidance. You're interviewing and figuring out what it is that they want. You're clear, and you can help them set those step-by-step goals to get there. So there's a difference between somebody who just wants to make an extra $50 a week versus somebody who wants to make a six-figure income. There's very big difference, and it depends on the time frame. Maybe somebody wants to make six figures, but they don't care if it happens within 5 years. Okay, that's a different pace than somebody who's like, I need it to happen this year. So there's really a whole different level of things. So that I thought was really important. But again, and I'm going to share all of my notes. I wrote all of this stuff out, so I'm going to post this in our page, the link to this in our page. I put a Google Doc together. But one of the things he also asks during the interview is if, like I said, if they will allow themselves to be held accountable, and then how many hours a week can they find to make an extra $50,000 a year. And the reason he asks it that way is because he wants to make sure that that time is your focus based on what you know you can do. Because I can help you find pockets of time, but you're the only one that is going to be able to decide how much time you're willing to dedicate to increasing your income by the amount of money that you say that you want to make in this business. So it's not just about, well, how many hours can you dedicate to the business? Because all of us will start going, well, I'm really busy. I have kids soccer. I have dance. I have, my mom group. I have church group. It's not that. It's how many hours can you find in your schedule to increase your income by the amount that you say you want to make. Does that make sense? So to me, that makes way more sense, because then it's like, okay, wait a minute. It's focused on your goal, and then you hone in on what it is that's important to you. Because the reality is, when you start this business, some things in your life, if depending on what you want and how fast you want it, some things in your life have to be put on pause. Some things in your life have to go. Not the main buckets of things, not family time, not work time for those of you who have full-time jobs or part-time jobs, not all of the other things that are top priority, not those things, but the other extraneous things that are negotiable. You might have to start DVRing your favorite show and maybe find 1 hour a week when you can actually catch up on it. You might have to cut out wine Wednesdays if you have Wednesday wine time with your friends or whenever it is. You might have to not stay up as late, or you might have to stay up later. There's different things that you have to do. And those expectations are things that you want to set with your coaches who you bring into this business from Jump Street. You want to know exactly what they want, how fast they want it, and show them in their calendar based on how much time they can dedicate, what it is that they need to do in that time. It needs to be very focused time. So I know there's chat. I get really distracted, so I'm going to look at the chat in just a minute. Hang on one second. The next question he asked, this is super important. Are you willing to get on a personal growth program? And the reason he asks that is, are you willing to change? Because he says, I'm going to read from my notes, no matter what you've done no matter what you've done or how successful you've been in another business or another company, you're going to need to grow personally. You'll find that things come up, and your biggest obstacle in this business to growing the business is going to be you. So it's not who got you started. It's not your upline. It's not the resources. It's yourself. So you can really only grow as far as you are growing personally. What I love that he said was, you don't get to have a team of 1,000 people and then lead them. You have to be the leader of 1,000-person team, and then the 1,000 people come. And I love that, because you have to be the leader first. You have to know that you have to treat your business as if you already make 6 figures or 7 figures, whatever it is that your goal is. You have to treat your business as if you have, thousands of people on your team. You have to treat it like that now, even if you have no coaches on your team, or even if your only coach is your spouse or your best friend or your mother-in-law or whoever it is that you signed up to get yourself to Emerald. That brings me to the next thing, which is, are you willing to do what I teach you to do? And be coachable. If you're not willing to be coachable in this business, you are not going to grow the business. Period. End of story. You have to follow the system. The system has been in place for a reason. I didn't make it up. Your leaders didn't make it up. Team Beachbody created it, and they worked with the most successful coaches to keep revamping it to be relevant each year. It works. You don't need to break it. You don't need to fix it because it's not broken. You don't need to add stuff to it because it doesn't need to be fixed. Now, that doesn't mean you're not putting your own spin on it and finding your own niche. We all have a different niche and a different market of people that we're talking to. However, the basic fundamentals of this business stay the exact same. And if you're not willing to be coachable and listen to the trainings and learn those things, you're going to struggle to build this business. You're going to be reinventing the wheel and making it a lot harder than it actually is. Business is so simple, it's ridiculous. It's not easy because it takes a lot of effort, time, and diligence, but it's simple. It's not complicated. I don't know how to run businesses. I'm not a business person. I don't have a business background, but I'm coachable. When I came in the business, the one thing I told my coach was, tell me what to do and I will do it. And I did. I didn't question it. I didn't say, I don't want to do that. I didn't say, let me skip that part. She told me I need to do personal development. I did it. She told me I need to do the what was 3 vital behaviors. Now it's 4. I did those. She told me I needed to go to Summit. I did. She told me I needed to go to Super Saturday, get on team calls, ask questions, do all my trainings. I did all that. And that's how I found success. And all of you who know that you've done the same thing, you know you're finding success in the business. It doesn't mean you control the time that you will get to your goal, but you will continually grow and gain momentum. If you start to try to skip, well, I don't want to drink Shakeology all the time, and I don't want to read personal development, I don't want to do the trainings. Well, that's your choice, but you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. So don't reinvent the wheel. It's stupid. I'm sorry, but it is. It's stupid to do that if you want to create an income. If you don't and you just have all the time in the world, that's wonderful, but that's not most of us. We are all goal-oriented people who have families, who are trying to create better lives for ourselves, and we really just need to be coachable. The other thing that he said was, the last question he asks, Are you willing to not bicker with the price? And basically what he means by that is it takes time to build this business. It's not just you get in for 30 days and all of a sudden you're making all this money. It seems like when you see other people, it just seems like business flows to them and it comes to them. It's so easy. That's not true. The people who have found success in this business are the people who don't give up. Like I said, they do the vitals. They're very coachable and they just keep working on it until they figure out what it is that works for them within those fundamental behaviors, if that makes sense. So he said, you can't work for 30 days and expect to have a huge business. 80% of businesses in America fail in the first freaking year. And most of those businesses, they don't expect to see a return on their investment until 5 years in. This business is almost like a paid internship the first few years. You get to make some extra money. And some people, a lot of people that are on this particular team have made more than some extra money, have made a significant income and a full-time income. So it's really just not comparing to who has sprinted and who has found success faster. It's, are you willing to pay the price? It's going to take time to find your way. It's going to take time to build an income and build a team of people that are going to create the income that you're looking for. The cool thing is we have commission too. It's not just residual income. So you don't have to wait. You can have a challenge pack sale and get paid for it the very next week. I mean, that's freaking awesome, you guys. To me, when I got my first check, which was $27, I was so pumped. I was like, this is a legit business. It's real. And it just gave me that little spark of like, oh my gosh, there's something to this. I can do this. I can get this figured out. And so it just built that belief in me. So the last thing he did say was, as coaches, and this is what I'm going to do with all of my coaches, whoever's been on my team for a long time, or if you're brand new, I am going to do exactly what he said. He said to basically have your coaches help them create their contact list. And ask them for 4 to 5 of the people that are on that contact list for you to help them get into the business so that you can get them to Emerald, so that you can get them on their way to Diamond, so that you can get their business started for them, so that you can show them exactly what to do and that it's duplicatable for them so they can, it's literally you helping them, you basically almost doing the work for them, but really mentoring them while you're doing it. You're not doing the work for them because they're their own CEO. They're going to do their own work, but it's really you hand-holding, and almost like when you're showing your kid how to ride a bike, you're not just going, okay, hope it works out. Or a coach who coaches a team, they don't just give the ball out to the team and say, whatever you guys want to practice today and go out there and win. It's not that. You're showing step by step, you're giving hand-holding, you're showing exactly what to do, but they have to do the work. So I hope all that makes sense. There's so much more I want to talk about, but I want to answer the chat and I want to unmute so that you guys can ask questions if you have them or comments or whatever. But I just want to say this last thing. What I'm doing this for all my personally sponsored coaches. I know Michelle wants to do this for all her personally sponsored coaches. So what we're going to do is use the Acuity scheduler and create time slots so that you guys can sign up for, if you're my personally sponsored coach, you can do this with me. If you're Michelle's, with her, and whoever else wants to do this, I really strongly encourage you to do this with your coaches. Start fresh. If you didn't get them started right, or if you feel like they could have had a better start, or you can help them and guide them better, do this for them. I'm doing this for all my coaches who want to do this with me. I want to know exactly what they want. I'm going to go back through every single coach that I have, discount or not, and figure out exactly what they want. Did they change from wanting to build to just wanting discount, or wanting discount to wanting to build? I'm going to know every single thing, and I'm going to give you my time and give you a step-by-step process of how to do this, handhold you, help you get to Emerald, help you get to your next rank, and get your business going and create the success that you can have, but you may just need more guidance. And I think sometimes some of us, because we've been in the business long, sometimes we feel embarrassed or nervous or whatever, silly, asking for help of things that you feel like you should probably already know. Don't feel like that. If you feel like it's a stupid question, who cares? Just ask the question anyways, because we want you to succeed. And the thing I love so much about this business is my success comes from your success. Your success comes from my success. So we literally have a mutually beneficial reason to work together as a team. So it's not that I'm doing your business for you. It's not that you doing something for me and I'm benefiting and you're not. And it's not that. Beachbody has set it up so beautifully that we can't succeed without one another. And so we genuinely want each other's success. So I genuinely want every single one of my coaches to get to Diamond and beyond, not because it's going to make me successful. It is going to make me successful, but that's not the only reason, because it's going to make you successful. I didn't get in this business to make it about me or to be the only one that's going, yep, I'm on the leaderboard. Yep, that's not why we're doing this. We're doing this to change our lives. And I'm just trying to become a better leader. So I told Michelle, I apologize to Michelle. I'm going to apologize to any of my coaches that feel like I didn't give them the right start or feel like they needed a better start. And I'm going to do my best to give that to you so that you can succeed, because this business is freaking awesome. Like, it just needs to be done. You just need to do the steps. And so if hand-holding is what's needed, and I was too wimpy or whatever he wants to say, sorry, this is what you need to do. Sorry, you need to work on some personal growth issues. Sorry, I'm going to be that coach. And I would rather you not like me and me tell you the truth and me give you exactly what you need. And then you decide what you want to do with it, versus me tiptoeing around your feelings or tiptoeing around what I think you may or may not be able to handle. I'd rather you grocery shop through the list of things that I'm offering to you based on what I know it takes to be successful, versus tiptoeing and eggshelling around. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys will embrace this new thing that we're doing and hang in there while we figure it all out. I'm going to unmute everybody, and if you have stuff to say, then let's talk. Unmute all. Okay, everybody's unmuted.
I'll start. I could get emotional. I'm like really upset that I dropped my diamond rank. Like, off, upset, hate it. Like, I hate it. And I worked my ass off for it. And then I just checked today and I'm like, that's gone. Boom, like that, you know. And I only had really one working coach right now. And the other ones are kind of sideliners. I don't feel like I personally know how to start coaches. I don't. And I have to be realistic. I'm only 8 months into it. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, I need to learn with the behaviors, you know? So like, I actually took this out, you know, the thing that they have, the business tracker. Mm-hmm. I just printed it off and I was like, I'm going to start basic. If it says 3 posts, or not, I do more than that, but I'm like 3 follow-ups, like get into the rhythm of doing it instead of trying to be like, I need to do 20 invites today. I think I need to get into a rhythm before I start crushing, because I think I'm getting overwhelmed. But on the same token, I have people who want to do it and I don't know how to start them, and I don't want them to get overwhelmed. And I don't know if maybe people because of that. I don't know. I don't have that answer. You know, I'm still trying to get familiar. I'm still trying to navigate. That's not excuses. It's just that, you know, I think I'm still in that building process.
Yeah. And I think, I'm 3 years in and I'm still figuring this out. I mean, I have basically put my personal issues onto other people, in the sense that I make assumptions that, well, if I felt overwhelmed in the beginning, then they do too. And it's not, everybody feels overwhelmed in the beginning. They do. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they feel the exact same way that I did, you know? And so I think that it has taken me this long to realize, you know what, like, I just am doing that. We're all just figuring this out. That's the best part about this business. There's really no failing. There's just learning. So I'm just learning how to be a better leader, how to be a better coach to my coaches. I know how to sell challenge packs. I know how to get people into the challenge groups. That part of it is not the issue. For me, it's more about recruiting and showing people how to get started right when they do decide to become coaches. Those things are a weak point for me. And I'm not just going to be like, well, I just suck at it. No, this is my business and I'm going to take ownership. And it's okay if it took me this long and it only took the next person, you know, half the time to figure these things out. That's okay. I'm not worried about anybody else but me. And same for you, Stacey, like, you're figuring it out. So one thing I'm going to do with you is help you with the getting started right process, because it's it's got to be something that's duplicatable. It's got to be something that, you know, you're learning from your coaches, because here's the deal. You're going to get good at it. You're going to find your groove just like you did with your challenge groups. And then you're going to teach that to all your new coaches. And they're going to be like, oh, okay, I know exactly what to do. One of the things he talks about in the training is the reason why he wants 4 to 5 people from your list. And you are basically being the one calling, or, you know, texting or Zoom calling or whatever with their people, is so that they can watch you. If you're a brand new coach, you're just still probably trying to work on finishing your first program. So it's like, you're trying to finish your first program, you're trying to remember to make your shake every day. You're trying to remember to, like, you know, post in your groups. You're trying to do all this stuff. And then it's like, wait a minute, how am I supposed to recruit a coach into the business? Like, I don't know what to say to that person. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what he's saying is our job as coaches and leaders to help them do that. And he used the example. He said, well, what if I'm only 1 month in as a new coach? You're 1 month more experienced than the coach that you're bringing in. And
Right.
whatever it is that you don't know, you can refer them to your coach. You can refer them to your upline coach, the person that sponsored you. And if that person's new, there's always somebody else to refer and show them where to get that information, and to do your best until you get skilled at it. So that's something that me and you are going to work together too, so that it's because you have to find your own groove, just like you did with your challenge groups. You have to,
Right.
okay, this is how she runs her challenge groups. And that's basically what you do. You watch your coach run challenge groups and you're like, I like this, I don't like this. And then you figure out what works for you and your niche of people. It's the same with the recruiting and getting people started right. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry you lost Diamond, but girlfriend, I'm telling you, you'll get it back. I've dropped rank so many times. 2-star, I have to get my 2-star rank back. I dropped Diamond. Like, I lost count how many times I've dropped Diamond and came back in Michael's account and my account. So, I mean, it happens. And we just have to get stronger at Lynn, and Stacey, it happens.
You know, I know, but it still made me mad. And there's like a couple of things that came to my mind was like, you know, I'm a hairdresser too, you know, and when I started hairdressing, I didn't have Jack Frost every day. I had nothing. I would come in and I'd be like, who's in my book? They're like, nobody. I'm like, that's the book. Like, it sucked. And, you know, here I am, it's 10 years later, and I make a solid income, you know? So I think it's the same thing. I think I need to just keep showing up and keep doing it and try. Me though, you know this because I'm a people pleaser. I got to knock that off and I got to do me. I can't go, well, if Dimitri is doing that, I have to do that. There's certain things, yes, I should probably one way. I may not have to, you know what I mean?
I do.
And that's very hard for mentally stuff. I always put you, and not you, but you, the other person,
right,
above me. And it's like, God, you know, it's like, it's a no.
Yes.
Getting in my own way.
Yes, and this is why he says when you start people, ask them, are they willing to do a personal growth program for themselves? Because the reality is that is what's going to stop you the most, is your personal things.
Yeah.
You're a people pleaser. Maybe somebody else is more of a, you know, they don't have a lot of finesse when they talk to people and they're just bitchy and bully and whatever. Maybe that's their issue. Maybe it's somebody's too passive. Maybe somebody's not reliable and they say they're going to do something and they don't do it. Whatever it is, that becomes your personal growth focus. That becomes whatever it is. And then when new level, new devil, you get to another level in your business and you're like, oh, I got this. Now you have a new struggle to figure out within yourself, and you can grow through that and get past it. And then it's like, boom, got that, next. And then you just keep growing. So it's really just, it's hard for people pleasers. I'm a people pleaser too, but I've worked hard on that. And I've learned, it's not that I'm not still struggles with the people pleasing, but I definitely know how to draw boundaries. I know how to not just say, okay, whatever. No, I am a boundary queen at this point. I'm like, no, that doesn't work for me. No. And it's not a bitchy thing. It's just the way it's got to be if I'm going to be successful in any area of my life. I have to have boundaries. So it's just one of those things. It takes time. But I think if we, like he said, are willing to pay the price and not create like a comparison thing. Well, she only had to pay 1 year. How come she's this far and I have to pay 5? It doesn't matter. Either you want what you want and you're willing to stay the course until you get it, or you are going to play the comparison game and that it's not fair game and it's too hard game. And the reality is everything is hard. Working for somebody else is a lot harder to me in the end than working for yourself. It's easier up front because you have a guaranteed paycheck, you know exactly what to do, you have less responsibility, but the reality is you also have less control over your future. And you also have less control over your life and how much money you're going to make and what you're going to be able to do with your kids and your own self. And to me, the front-loaded work is so much better. It's like you pay the price and then you have all that benefit and all that reward that's going to come on the back end. When you're an employee, and nothing wrong with jobs, don't get me wrong. I mean, we're all employees. If not right now, we all were at some point. There's nothing wrong with that. It's awesome. But most of us want more than that. I know I do. I want my freedom. I don't want to ask somebody for vacation time. So at this point for me, yes, I do this full time, but my husband, he's still on somebody else's time. And until we figure this business out to the point where we get it to the income we need for him to stop working, that's our life. I'm on his job's time. You know what I mean? So it's like, you just figure it out. You just make the commitment to the price that you have to pay for it to, and that's it. And you just keep going. And you know what, Stacey, you know what I love is that it bothers you that you dropped your rank. It should bother you. If it didn't bother you, that to me, that says a lot about your character. And it's in the fact that this is serious to you. And it should be, because honestly, the amount of life changing things that are about to happen when you stay the course in this business, it's ridiculous. It's the people that give up because it didn't happen fast enough or they didn't feel like it. It just sucks that people give up like that, because you can't really find anything like this, you guys. Even other MLMs are not the same. They're just not. Anyway, so does anybody have questions, comments?
I think something that I need to work on and I need to improve is that I tend to have some stuff happen and then I tend to stop instead of slowing down, like I was saying earlier. And like kind of what got me thinking about things really hardcore this time is like I got an email. I got offered for the Mexico trip for 2018.
Awesome.
And I was 188. And I'm like 188 out of all the coaches in 2016. And so I'm just like, and that like made me realize I have accomplished stuff. So I tend to beat myself up a lot.
Yes.
And I tend to put like my day job first because it's like the easy way out. I need to stop taking the easy way out and realize that the hard effort and work I put in now with Beachbody is going to get me where I want to be. Otherwise, I mean, there's no easy way. And I just need to realize that.
Yes.
So I just need to stay at like a steady pace instead of stopping. So I'm working on that, but
you guys, if we get cut off, I'm going to jump back on if anybody wants to. I'm not offended if you don't, but if we want to keep talking, you know how I roll. I'm going to jump back on because it's going to probably cut us off. But Marla, 100%, I agree. I get it. And that's what I used to do too. I used to just be like, oh, stop, start over, stop, disappear, come back. And that just, you don't have to do that in this business. You just have to say, okay, let me reassess. Let me make some adjustments. Let me figure out what I need first so that I can keep going and not just give up on my life or stop, start, because that's not, you'll never gain the momentum and the success that you want. And you have accomplished a lot and you need to give yourself credit for that because it takes time. It takes time.